So, Ojay, welcome to Shropshire. Before we get into some of the debates that we've talked about this morning, just explain what your job actually involved.
So I'm the chief executive of an organisation called the Association of Town and City Management. It's a bit of a mouthful, but basically what we do is our body looks after those people who are the guardians of high streets, town centres and city centres across the UK and Ireland. So they will be local authorities, they'll be business improvement districts, they'll be property owners, and basically they will look to see what they can do around supporting high street retail, creating a pleasant environment for people, really trying to attract footfall, encourage spend, putting on great events, and we'll support them in terms of sharing best practice, understanding common problems, working with policymakers and sort of bridging that gap between policymakers nationally and our members working locally, so that there's good understanding at both sides.
And do there tend to be common problems, north, south, east, west? Is it the same things people are talking about?
There are some problems which are unique to specific centres, but there's so much of it which is absolutely common. Sometimes even globally, which we'll see working with our international partners as well. So you think about some of the changes that are happening in terms of the retail sector and how online is completely changing the game. An organisation like Amazon is, of course, global. So, that poses a challenge everywhere. Challenges like antisocial behaviour or car parking, for example. We've just come through a pandemic which was global. There are so many of these problems which happen everywhere. So to have a network like ours where different people can get together and share experiences becomes vital.
And we've been talking in the seminar earlier about how the days of each town having like a big anchor retailer and everything else builds around it. That's gone, hasn't it, really, now?
It's in dire straits. So you see some of the big stores disappearing all the time. Debenhams has been on our high street for decades, might even be a good part of 100 years. That brand's been on our high street, and it's gone. And those pressures are there, and it's a mixture of changing consumer behaviours, obviously online shopping, which makes life much more convenient for some consumers, and then issues around tax as well. So we discussed the issue of business rates, which for big stores with a high footprint, the amount they will have to pay in tax it can be really difficult for them when they've got all these other challenges to manage as well.
It feels to me like people have been talking about reinventing or scrapping or rewriting business rates for decades now, and it never actually quite gets over the line, does it?
No, absolutely. And even though we see a change in business rates as being the way forward because the tax is obsolete, the problem the Treasury has is that finding a nice, easy solution is difficult, almost impossible. Business rates provides money for local government, but we know that local government is under pressure financially. So whatever we move to, we've got to be really careful that it actually works. Or else we'll just create other problems for ourselves. We've discussed things like an online sales tax. That's not necessarily that easy to implement, and it's not a silver bullet. So there's lots to take in.
Leasing anything online is tough, isn't it, to be honest?
It absolutely is. It absolutely is, and it's a challenge. And I think one of the things we're seeing in terms of the high street is not only does the high street need to catch up to make sure it is able to adapt to what's happening online and digitally, but it's the same with our rules, regulations, our tax system as well. All of that needs to be able to catch up to support high streets on that journey.
So for town centres to reinvent themselves for the future, there's lots of different stakeholders that have all got to buy into the same thing at the same time, haven't they? I'm thinking, for example, particularly the landlords and the tenants. Are they on the same page at the moment, do you think?
So there's always differences, and I think you go into any town, there are so many different stakeholders with so many different needs that it can be a challenge to bring everybody together. But for us, there are things we need to think about doing, such as making sure we can be flexible in terms of how town centres evolve with the times, making sure we can create great social experiences, making sure we can create great mixed-use centres which are resilient to change. But in order to deliver any of that, partnership, it's essential. We need property owners, we need the community, we need businesses, we need local government, transport operators, whoever it might be, all round the table working together to a common vision for positive change.
And in a predominantly rural county like Shropshire, you know, if you take Telford and Shrewsbury out of the mix, so it's small to medium market towns, did they pose different kinds of challenges?
Absolutely, but not necessarily challenges. What I would see in these kinds of market towns, there's opportunities there which a lot of other areas don't have. A lot of things around history and heritage, which I think you simply cannot replicate through the digital economy, which can be a real draw, whether it's for local residents or for the visitor economy.
And finally, Ojay, what have you taken away from this event today?
Oh, it's been fabulous. I tell you what, hearing about the case studies from the Printworks and the Orbit, it's great. It just reaffirms the work we do at a national level. Loved hearing about the Shrewsbury master plan as well, the potential riverside development, which is out to consultation at the moment. Really exciting, really great schemes. And I think for us, we do so much work nationally with policymakers on telling people how things are and what we need, the types of policies we need to take town centres forward. It's always great to be at an event like this to see what's happening on the ground and how some of that is being put into practice with some really great schemes. So I've loved it. It's been great.
Well, we look forward to welcoming you back to Shropshire sometime very soon.
Oh, can't wait. I can't wait.
Thanks for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.